912-659-2752. Germain Fields and Like Father, Like Sons Lawn Care. Come on now, we all know cutting grass and manicuring that lawn is a love-or-hate relationship. No matter which side you sit on, you can count on Germain Fields and Like Father, Like Son Lawn Care to do that thing you hate, or give you that needed break from what you love. 912-659-2752. Like Father, Like Son. Whether it's pressure washing, lawn maintenance, trimming and edging, landscaping jobs, large or small, you can count on Germain. An Effingham alum, 4-year volunteer defensive coordinator at EC Middle, 3 kids and a wife, Kelly, all big fans. Like Father, Like Sons invest in the community and will do the same for you. Whether on the sidelines for ECHS games or giving some EC insight to Low Country Radio Sports' Charlie Moon, Germain is always ready to make that yard fabulous. Of course, unless EC's about to score.
Moncrief Square, 912-800-5258. D and Jimmy Moncrief love some Rebel football, and you're going to love Moncrief Square. 4 distinct venues, and oh man, that gorgeous, nostalgic, rustic feel. Moncrief has exactly what you need, large or small, quaint or extravagant. 912-800-5258. For that special performance or that once-in-a-lifetime wedding, don't leave life's special moments in the red zone. Score big. Call Moncrief. Say hello to Teresa. She'll take care of you. 912-800-5258.
What in the world is going on, Effingham County football fans, Rebel Nation? You're listening to Effingham County football and John Ford Show. I'm Charlie Moon alongside Effingham County Rebels head coach John Ford. How's it going, Coach Ford? Where you at? And what's going on tonight on this beautiful fall Thursday night?
Oh, what a beautiful night. I hope you're doing well, Charlie, my friend, and it is a great weather week. It kind of feeling football weather. We certainly thank God for the fall. And just leaving a freshman game from South Effingham High School where the Rebels came out victorious 27-6. So, good Thursday night.
Okay, yep. That was going to be question number one. Most people know I teach for a full-time living, and the radio stuff is for the passion and for the love and that kind of thing. But today had a student that parent decided they was just going to let the school take care of them all afternoon. So didn't get recorded. Didn't get to record this afternoon on schedule. So I know you texted me you're at the 9th grade game. That was going to be question number one. How'd they do? But 27-6. So congrats on that. I know you like to see those young bucks taking care of business because they're coming up to you.
Yeah, feel good about, you go down to both middle schools. You go down to Ebenezer Middle, Effingham Middle. Our 9th grade program is doing an awesome job. Our JV kids are great. They play the game the right way. So love the varsity team that I coach now. Love the senior class. They are a great group of young men. I am blessed and honored and privileged to coach them. But I'm equally excited about the future of Effingham County football.
And when you talk about that future, a number that you threw out to me, and I've seen and heard you mention it on a couple other media outlets, and in print, video, and audio, is the fact that Effingham County, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, you're going to have to tell me what the exact number is, but at some point in the last 12 months or so, Effingham County was one of the top 20, 25 growing counties in the country. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. And I imagine it's probably the same in Bryan County where you are. So, there's a lot of growth in this area. Grateful for everybody that has kind of made business boom in Savannah the way they have, and Pooler the way they have, and Gulfstream and the port and everything else. And so it's been, I grew up in Gwinnett County when commerce and industry kind of boomed up 85 and down Highway 78. And things like that. And, you know, the Metro Atlanta was kind of a sleepy suburb that we grew up in when we were in elementary school. And then by the time we were in high school, Atlanta kind of grew up that way. And obviously it's a smaller scale, but it kind of feels that way here now. And I know it's probably the same way you are.
Yeah, and then, you know, I lived up there in Athens for 5 or 6 years before I moved to Savannah in 2016. Before then, I was born and raised in South Carolina. But being in Athens, hey, yeah, I know what you're talking about. I had also an aunt that moved to Gwinnett, and gosh, probably like the mid-'90s or so. And next thing you know, go ahead.
That's when the explosion was really in its prime on kind of the Snellville side of Gwinnett.
Yep, and they had to move away because it's crowded up so fast. Now they're in a little spot called Between yep. Monroe. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about? Yes, I do. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And people listening like, between what? It's between Monroe and what's the other city that it's between? Loganville, yeah, that's right. You're right. Yeah. There's a couple cousins of mine went to Loganville High School, and I know this doesn't have anything to do with Effingham County football, but hey, sometimes you do this on the coaching show. You have a little fun and get people used to the surroundings. What's that other public school that's right there in Loganville? Not George Walton Academy. Well, you got Walnut Grove, you've got Loganville, you've got Monroe area. Those are kind of the three public schools in Walton County. Grayson's on the Gwinnett side of that line, and then, you know, you get out to East Jackson and Hall County and those kind of places. Walnut Grove. Yep, that's it. Walnut Grove Warriors. And that boom there, helped produce several schools. One of those being, Buford, Buford, and, something tells me you know a little bit about that program. You spent some time there, before you, went to, Bleckley County and now at Effingham County. Talk to Effingham County, Rebel Nation, whoever else is listening. It's pretty cool when we get messages from people that, are not Effingham County fans or the other coaching shows we do, and they're just high school football junkies, and, you know, they like listening to our shows, and they'll ask us, you know, certain questions. So tell those people, too, that don't know anything about Effingham County, a comparison that you might be able to make between what happened there and when you coaching at Buford, to what could happen here in the Effingham County area. Buford's kind of its own unique deal. It's tough to compare it to somebody else because it's a city school. Yeah. That has its own sets of rules and regulations and its own budget and its own set of finances, and I tell you what, it was a great place. I learned so much being the coach there. I'm grateful for the 2 years I spent there. I don't think I would be the coach I am today without the experiences there, and so it's an elite program, and Coach Applin's done an awesome job up there. And I'm grateful for my 2 years there, and learned a ton about culture and learned a ton about leadership and learned a ton about program organization. And there's a lot of good coaches there in every sport. And, you know, I enjoyed Tom Bugles is one of the best wrestling coaches in the country. He's won more state championships than I can even remember. And I had lunch duty with him every day for 2 years and got to pick his brain on culture and attitude and mindset and aggression. And he's one of the best coaches regardless of sport. So you can't learn something when you're you know, hanging out with guys like Tom Bugles and Eddie Martin that are just legendary coaches in their field. Then I don't even know what to say about you. You just don't have anything between your ears. So just grateful where I am. God's got a plan and a purpose, and He has ordered my steps and ordered up my path and my family's path. And really, 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 really happy where I am, and feel unbelievable about the future here, and know that some of the lessons I learned up there are going to help me down here for sure. That's interesting you talk about the wrestling coach at Buford and being able to pick his brain, even though, you know, wrestling's a different sport than football, but it reminds me of something my mother used to say, and she still says today. She's a retired high school corps director from South Carolina, and she was one of the most respected high school corps directors in the state of South Carolina. Had several groups that sang in Carnegie Hall, EBC Today Show, and some other things, but that's kind of tops on their list. And one of the things she used to always say was, no matter how how successful you become and how good you might get and what you think you might know, it doesn't matter how many years you've been doing that, how many years you've been successful. If you're not willing to pick the brain of other people, it doesn't matter if they're 20 years younger than you, 20 years older than you. Pick the brain of other people, and you'll come up with either new ideas, and I hate to say steal, but steal's not the word. There might be some ideas that you go, I never thought of that. I could do that. But you are collaborating as educators, and you're always going to be able to learn and pick up things from other colleagues. Is there anybody else? Let's talk specifically football. On the football end, is there anybody else that you've really kind of looked up? Well, not could have been looked up to, but bottom line, been able to pick the brain of.
Oh gosh, yeah, that's
a lot.
Yeah, if I started naming them, I would leave somebody out and feel bad about it. But I played at a great high school program and had a bunch of teammates that are coaching now, and so I'm always picking the brains of those guys. And the offensive coordinator Brookwood now is a good friend of mine, and some of the things that we do on offense, I straight stole from him. He's an unbelievable coach. There's particularly during quarantine, there was a group of coaches, back when the pandemic was in its, peak or whatever. There was a big group of coaches, and it was coaches from all over. But somebody that coaches in Cobb County, would always send me the link, and every Monday there would be a Zoom with, there might be 75 coaches on there. And sometimes there was a guest speaker. Sometimes there was a college coach that would come in and talk. Sometimes there would be, hey guys, what is your practice organization? What's your third down? What do you do on Sunday? What are you looking for on film on during the week? How do you organize your weekly practice racks and things like that? And so, guys, there's so many good coaches. And you say the word steal. From a football standpoint, I'll steal a good idea from anybody, because I'm not by any stretch too proud to say, well, somebody else came up with that, so I'm not going to use it. I will. If somebody's got a good idea or a good way of doing things, I got no problem taking it and then trying to make it fit into what we do if it's something that I feel like will help us. So, yeah, there's hundreds of coaches that I pick their brains and learn from, and it really is a special profession. I'm going to be honest with you, Charlie. It's a great profession. It is. Coaches look out for each other. I think now as the job's gotten harder, and as society's changed a little bit, and it used to be like back in my day, if you know how it is, you're in education, back in our day, if we got in trouble in school, well, our parents would pop us and say, what the heck's wrong with you? Now, kids get in trouble in school and they say, well, it's the teacher's fault, or the teacher didn't do this, or the class is set up this way, or, there'll be 1,000 reasons, on anybody but the kid as to why something went wrong. And so, I think coaches kind of circled the wagons a little bit and said, well, we're going to take care of each other. And, I try to pay it forward as much as I can. I'll talk ball and listen to anybody and, offer whatever ideas I can.
I hear you. Well said, Coach. So let's stay a few minutes and talk about the Richmond Hill game from the other night. I know it didn't turn out like you wanted, but one of the things we talked about on our end of the broadcast was the fact that it's a totally different look and feel Effingham County football that's been there the last 2 or 3 years, and I know that anytime a new coach comes in somewhere, especially a well-respected guy like yourself, it's difficult for you to talk about anything that happened in previous years. You don't even want to talk about it that much, and that's fine. I'm not going to ask you to do that. But from someone that's not there in Effingham County, from what it looked like from afar and from what I knew from some friends that were involved in the program, for whatever reason, those last 2, 3, even 4 years, a lot of kids just didn't want to play. The effort wasn't there for various reasons. But I'm gonna tell you this, head coach John Ford, that was not the case on Friday night. I know the scoreboard didn't say what you guys wanted to say, but from start to finish, it was a much different Effingham County football team. Were you happy with your effort on Friday night?
I thought our kids fought hard in some spots, and I certainly appreciate you saying that. But Richmond Hill is a championship program. They've been one of the bell cows in this region for a couple of years now, and we can't come out. I thought we came out lethargic a little bit on both sides of the ball. I don't know if schedule, fall break. I don't want to take anything away from Richmond Hill. They had a great plan, both sides of the ball, and our kids just didn't match the level of intensity. And I told our kids, Richmond Hill, their kids have been on the sidelines and been in the game in semifinals and region championships and playoffs. So, that there's another level that we got to find, and I think it took us a little while to find it, if that makes sense. And so, we competed. I thought we could have played harder in spots, and I certainly think we could have executed better in some spots. But, Richmond Hill had a great plan, both sides of the ball. Coach was up, and his staff doing an awesome job. And, those are the kind of games that we've got to do a great job in if we want to, punch our way up in this region. And so that's our goal, and that's our purpose, and that's our plan. And it was a great learning experience from us. Like Tony Bennett said, when University of Virginia got knocked out as a 1 seed, and then obviously we're not a 1 seed, but the quote that he said that stuck with me that said, adversity will take you places you could never go otherwise if you use it correctly. And so we're just, Richmond Hill brought us a lot of adversity, and we're just going to try to use it the right way.
Well, speaking of use it the right way, let's take a peek at that upcoming schedule. You guys are right now standing at 3-2 overall, 1-1 in Region 2, 6A. And you got some big ones coming up here. So I'm flipping down the schedule here. Yeah, you got Bradwell, Statesboro, Brunswick at the end of the season. But before that, tomorrow night, we're recording the show on Thursday. You got the big one against Glenn Academy. They're leaving the Bricks, and we're going down to the Bricks tomorrow night to take on Brunswick. Glenn Academy, I mean, they are what they are. They're always going to be sometimes not necessarily the highest rated from the skill position area, but they're always extremely well coached. And at this point in the season, that's when they're playing their best football. What jumps out at you about Glenn?
Well, Rock's done a great job there. Knew him from his days at Walton. When he was assistant at Walton, I was an assistant at Harrison in Cobb County. So we crossed paths a lot. Summer touchdown clubs, places and things like that. Just have a lot of respect for him and really enjoy watching him coach and watching him build his program. And they're physical on both sides of the ball, particularly their D-line. They're extremely physical. Offensive-wise, they come off the ball. Quarterback is a dual threat guy. He can throw. They love to throw deep shots to some talented receivers, and then they love to run the ball. They're going to play hard. They're going to be really sound in the kicking game. Defensively, they're going to get off the bus, trying to be physical and beat up your O-line and gang tackle your backs and be real physical and grab you with your receivers and make it tough on you. And so it is, it's going to be an unbelievable challenge. And, we've got to come out and play well for 48 minutes. We can't wait. We can't, think we can play 34 minutes of good football and be in that game for sure.
And you talk about being physical, and that's a really good description of Friday night at the Richmond Hill ball game, and that's what led us to continue to say, hey guys, this program's headed to the right place because they look and feel totally different, other than the uniforms, which are awesome by the way. Look and feel totally different than the look they've had for the last few years. Guys just literally giving up on plays, not being able to hang with the guy across the line of scrimmage. But on Friday night, you guys were able to do that against Richmond Hill. One of the things another thing that impressed us so much was you got a few guys at those skill positions. You always got to have the guys up front, and that's always unsaid. But in high school football, sometimes the separation is what do you have at that skill position. And you guys got some guys like Miguel Allen. Miguel can fly.
Yeah, Miguel's got some. He's got some giddy up and go in him, no doubt. He's a great kid too. Gosh, I love coaching him. Only bad thing about Miguel is he's a senior. I wish I could keep him around for you.
Yeah, he had your lone score against Richmond Hill on Friday night. It seemed like you guys were trying to hit either a wheel route or a flare route or something to get him the ball in space. and the Wildcats were able to slow him down enough. But then late in that third quarter, early fourth quarter, he finally got in the end zone. I know that had to make you feel good.
Yeah. Wish we had done it a little bit earlier. Wish we had, hit some things earlier in the first half that and maybe we could have gone in 14-7 or something like that. But we weren't very smart on offense. We didn't execute very well, and like I said, you got to tip your cap to Richmond Hill because they had a really good plan for us.
Yeah, they started out really fast. They scored their first possession. It was 7 play drive, and they went right down the field. I'm not sure if sometimes they script their opening drive and sometimes they don't. And I'm not sure what the case was for Friday night, but it looked like everything was scripted and it worked exactly like they thought they would. Ended it with a Ryan Beekle 35-yard touchdown run. But then the next 2 times out, you ended up picking off Ty Goldrick a couple times on 2 possessions in a row. Was there anything you guys saw on film that had anything to do with those picks, or was it just guys making spontaneous plays?
No, I mean, it was just guys making good plays. It wasn't, Richmond Hill's got a really good scheme on both sides of the ball, and they came out and really RPO'd us well on the first drive, and hopefully we, just try to play with a little bit better eyes, play a little bit smarter, and we had some kids make some plays, but we just needed to make them earlier. And then we needed to capitalize on those turnovers when we got them.
And then, you got another guy out there, Kerry Wallace. Kerry, how long has he been playing football?
As far as I know, since I guess maybe middle school, 9th grade, 10th grade, long kid. I know he was hurt last year, so I know he missed the Richmond Hill game, and I think he played maybe in the first 2 or 3 games, and maybe in the last game against Brunswick, and I think he was hurt in between. But just an unbelievable kid, long, fast, explosive basketball player. Some college is going to go on him, and they're going to look real smart doing it.
Oh yeah, we remember calling him on the hardwood. That Effingham County basketball team is probably, in my mind, is going to be the favorite to win the region this year in basketball. They're going to be incredible, and led by him and maybe Keon. I know Keon had his jersey on the other night, but I know he's not being able to play football this year. He got hurt in the summer. In fact, I see his mom about once every 3 or 4 months when I go to the doctor. His mom works at South Coast Health, and she's always talking to me about it. And she's a big time Rebel fan, but nevertheless, let's finish touching on this Glenn Academy game before we kind of wrap things up here. Glenn Academy, they did something against Brunswick about 3 weeks ago that pretty much nobody's been able to do, and that's slow them down. They really grinded out a 17-14 overtime loss at Brunswick in the Brunswick rivalry game. And the biggest thing they did was they wanted to swallow the clock, keep the ball away from those Brunswick athletes. And it was 2nd and 7, 3rd and 2 all night long, and they were able to convert. If you had to put your finger on one thing that you're going to have to do to succeed against them, what would that be?
We're going to have to sustain drives offensively. We're going to have to be able to get a little bit of run game going earlier than we did last Friday night. If they give us opportunities downfield, we've got to hit them for sure. And then defensively, we're going to have to play with great pad level. Because I know Coach Rock's going to challenge his guys to come off the ball and challenge his guys to be physical up front because he's a great coach, and that's what great coaches do. And I know they've got some talented backs and some big play receivers on the edge, but I know he wants to start up front by being a physical team and being able to get off the bus, getting after you. And so we've got to handle their surge of their offensive line, tackle their backs, make sure we tackle the quarterback because he'll pull it and run, and then offensively we've got to sustain drives.
Let's go ahead and round it out like this, Coach. I'll always like to have a little fun with coaches and players. We have them on every week. With a little fun around things out. Here we go. All right. The other night, the Richmond Hill ball game, I was noticing those guys having a lot of fun before the game, and the playlist that was coming from the stadium, and it's the same playlist they've had there for I don't know exactly how many years, but it's ever since I've been calling games there for the last 3 years. And it got me to thinking things that were on my playlist growing up. Now, and at the live coaches show a couple nights ago, Richmond Hill, I played some of those songs, and those kids, we always know generation to generation. Well, that's not the same music back in my day. But I thought that those kids would have some kind of Dr. Dre or something on there that was similar to stuff I had on my playlist. That wasn't even close. They're talking about Cheesy Keith and some stuff. I don't even something cut Reese. I don't know, whatever. But what's on your playlist? Do you even have a playlist?
For road games, I like to listen to some things on the bus ride over. Sometimes it might be worship music. Sometimes it might be 90s rap. Sometimes it might, be stuff from when I was a kid. Sometimes it may just be a podcast that I can just kind of relax my mind to. So could be a bunch of different things.
I got you. So it might be according to how your week's gone, whether you need to ratchet up the emotion a little bit, or whether you need to slow things down because you've been jacked up all week. Does that sound about right?
That sounds about right. Yes, sir.
And what's your rule on, I know every coach has their own rules as far as cell phones, electronic devices, when they can have them on, when they can have their earbuds on before and after games or practices. What kind of rules do you guys have?
Pregame, none at the pregame meal, none, no, you can listen to music, but in the locker room between, 6:30 and 7:30 when we're getting ready for warm-ups, and then after we come out for warm-ups, and we're in the locker room, no, you can listen to music, but no Snapchat, no TikTok, no social media. Be present, be where your feet are, be 10 toes down, be focused on your job, what you got to do and how you got to do it, so to speak.
10 toes down. I like it. Never heard that before. It makes sense. 10 toes down. A good friend of mine, John Woods, the defensive coordinator at Hampstead a couple years ago, and first day of practice there were three freshmen coming out for varsity, and they had their cell phones they're in the middle of practice, and he had to argue with them to get their cell phones away. He knew then that they had an uphill battle. I know, Coach Hockman's got things going in the right direction there now, but boy, those first few days were tough. So that's a battle with kids and their electronic devices now. And so I couldn't believe what I was even having to do, having to argue with a kid to put his cell phone up during the middle of practice. But anyway, yeah. So hey, how's the young ladies around the house?
Oh, they're doing good. They're doing good. They we were on fall break this week. This past, so they got to go spend some time at the beach. So it was we were practicing football. They were at the beach. So it was good living for them.
Did Frank go with them?
No, me and the notorious PUG stayed at the house.
The notorious PUG. He was probably listening to some Dr. Dre while you were at practice, I bet.
I guarantee you he was, my friend.
All right. Hey, thanks for joining us again, John Ford. Hey, good luck tomorrow. You guys all the teams around the region are always on our updated region scoreboard during every broadcast of Richmond Hill games, and we got other games around the state that we keep our eye on. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on your score tomorrow night because hey, all playoff spots are all still up to grabs, and pretty much, other than a couple situations, almost all playoff seeds are still up for grabs. After this weekend, some things will be, the story will be told a little bit more. And I know Effingham County Rebel football will have a lot to say about that. But thanks for joining us, John Ford. We'll talk to you soon. Y'all have a good one tomorrow night.
You too, Charlie. You are the man. Y'all be safe on your way down to the WIC.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, sir.
912-659-2752. Germain Fields and Like Father Like Son's Lawn Care. Come on now, we all know cutting grass and manicuring that lawn is a love-or-hate relationship. No matter which side you sit on, you can count on Germain Fields and Like Father Like Son Lawn Care to do that thing you hate, or give you that needed break from what you love. 912-659-2752. Like Father Like Son. Whether it's pressure washing, lawn maintenance, trimming and edging, landscaping jobs, large or small, you can count on Germain. An Effingham alum, 4-year volunteer defensive coordinator at EC Middle, 3 kids and a wife, Kelly, all big fans. Like Father Like Sons invest in the community and will do the same for you. Whether on the sidelines for ECHS games or giving some EC insight to Low Country Radio Sports' Charlie Moon, Germain is always ready to make that yard fabulous. Of course, unless EC's about to score.
Moncrief Square, 912-800-5258. D and Jimmy Moncrief love some Rebel football, and you're going to love Moncrief Square. 4 distinct venues, and oh man, that gorgeous, nostalgic, rustic feel. Moncrief has exactly what you need, large or small, quaint or extravagant. 912-800-5258 for that special performance or that once-in-a-lifetime wedding. Don't leave life's special moments in the red zone. Score big. Call Moncrief. Say hello to Teresa. She'll take care of you. 912-800-5258.